Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Yes, the beautiful hills, and yes, Middle Tennessee, not east, not west, but still Tennessee, home of lots of cool people like Alvin York, right? Elvis Presley. Oh, I could go on and on, right? David Crockett lived here a long time, so have a lot of people. Many of whom were not born here. Just like myself, I've been here most of my life, since I was about 18, 19, 18, 19, somewhere in there, when I came to school down here. And anyway, yeah, Tennessee, just gorgeous. The fall is, it's not really fall, but it depends on what you call fall, I guess. Once fall officially began, September 21st or something. But you know, there's a big change in the air and the feel, and things starting to dry up and die, at least slow the growth, you know, even in late July around Middle Tennessee. But then especially in August and September, the air's a little clearer. It's you know, less humidity, you know, and even though it's a hot day today, really, but you know, just not as much humidity. It's a good day for throwing axes, right? I saw this hanging on the wall and thought, you know what, I think I'm going to pull out one of my Beaver Bill throwing axes, and I need to do more throwing. I'm getting behind on my throws, but in fact, I'm going to Friendship, I think, next week, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Got some more dental work that week, but if I'm feeling all right about it, I mean, I don't have to like go back for some kind of other thing the next day or two if it's not right or something like that. But I might be in Friendship, so if you're there at the Black Powder Shoot, National Black Powder Shoot, Friendship, Indiana, if you live within striking distance of that thing, whether I go or not, yeah, you ought to go down there. It's cool. If you have any interest in muzzle loaders and that sort of thing, knives, primitive tools and camping and that sort of thing. Plus there's a huge flea market, massive flea market in conjunction with it on the weekends. It runs for like I don't know, 10 days or so. It's let's see, it's next weekend. What is today? Yeah, it's next weekend. I'm talking to you on a Saturday, and so it's the next weekend besides this one. How's that? It starts. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be up there. I might buy another one of these. I love these things. Great piece of hardware. So yeah, yeah, I might still sound a little different to you. Hopefully you've seen the FAQ video. I'm sure you have if you're watching these stupid things called Shooting the Breeze, because these are like expanded, greatly expanded, well, they're sort of a massive FAQ, I guess, in a lot of ways. A lot of questions we answer in these. I do address, just like the old radio shows, did 100 of those. And I know not many people have time to go through all those or listen to all the Shooting the Breezes, especially if you're behind. But as you know, those of you who do follow them, and a lot of you do tell me you do, you've seen every one. You know a whole lot more about, you know, what we're about and what we're doing, and you probably know me better than I know me, because I probably rattle off enough that don't do that, kids. Remember, I'm a professional. You know, you just reveal yourself when you talk a lot, don't you? Yeah, can be good, can be bad. So anyway, you know, that's just the way it is. And yeah, so I think I'm doing okay, but I feel like I sound a little bit different at times, more than others, and that sort of thing. But anyway, that's why we did the FAQ, so you'd know. And you know, I mean, in the midst of all that, and but it's all good. I'll survive it. I could have much more serious problems than that, you know, which is one reason I just still have a hard time understanding why some people are oh gosh, I don't know, so down all the time, or negative, or angry, you know. Are you in a wheelchair? I saw a car just yesterday. It hit me. There was a stoplight, and guy went by and had the wheelchair, you know, rig up on the van and everything. And I thought, whoever that is, or wherever they go, they got to, get the wheelchair out before they can go into the Walmart or wherever they go, to buy something other than handgun ammo, right? They've got to, and of course any place you look, you're going to see somebody, like, are you in chemo right now, or are you in a wheelchair? Some of you are, right? But most people, fortunately, are not. And in most cases, it's probably those people who have the most anger. People who actually have a reason to be down and maybe angry at the world. Most of the time, I would say they don't even have a reason, really, other than maybe they've been too spoiled in their life. They might need a little grief. They might be a little better off, Maybe they've not had enough adversity, in their lives. Here I go getting philosophical right off the bat. Yeah, right off the bat. But anyway, I was just reminded of that, and how to get off of that. Well, it's all good, otherwise, I think I'm pretty healthy. Like I told you, I'm losing some weight and feel good. Still working on that. I want to get down another 10 pounds at least, It's hard. I've kind of plateaued down. I'm not moving back up. Determined not to do that, but it's just hard to get on down from where I am. I'm having to work at that. But anyway, it's all good. But it does perplex me about some folks, how they became so rude. You run into them, don't you, at the grocery, or you run to them, of course, on the internet, everywhere. I heard some, everywhere on the internet. I was listening to a podcast. I can't remember who it was. I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm walking or just out and around doing stuff on the place. And who was it? Maybe it was Dave Rubin. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a sharp guy. But he was interviewing somebody, or somebody might have been interviewing him. A lot of these guys and gals that have these massive podcasts, they interview each other a lot and talk back and forth and all that. But they appear on each other's podcasts a lot. But they were talking about this very thing, and how on the internet somebody was making the point, well, you remember the days before social media, and there was always that guy down the street or across the street that you advised your kids to stay away from and not talk to him. That guy, that Bob down the street, like the name that Bob down the street, just stay away from that house and don't talk to Bob, even if he talks to you, just stay away. And Bob, maybe it's kind of unbalanced or very strange, and very angry maybe, or whatever. There's always one in the neighborhood, right, or more. Well, the point they were making, I made that same point, I guess, different ways, but what the internet and social media did was it gave all the Bobs, on the planet, literally on the planet, a big megaphone, a voice, because the Bobs of the universe tend to be the loudest, right? The most vocal, the most irate, on the internet or on social media. So that's all that is, I mean, they've always been around. It's just that now they have a voice, kind of, even though over the last, 10 or 20 years, we've gradually learned to ignore them more and more and better. We've gotten better at that, haven't we? We've gotten a lot better at ignoring the Bobs, And if you could meet a lot of these people on the internet that are so full of hate, or they're angry, or whatever, desperate for whatever reason to get attention, or just to be obnoxious, or whatever it is, you would quickly probably understand. Okay, I get it. Yeah, you are that Bob down the street. Yeah, I get it. So that's just the way it is. It's a little bit like teaching. I was teaching, for 29 years, and did other things too that I can't talk about, or I'd have to kill you. But I know I taught for 29 years, and it was interesting, meeting parents for the first time. Not that you jump to conclusions, or it's not a hard, fast rule, but often if there was an issue, a certain source of issues with the youngster, after you met the parents, you sort of got a little insight into that. Not always, but often, okay, this figures, that kind of thing. So anyway, not to be negative, and you all know, if you've listened to these before, I really enjoy teaching, and I really enjoyed the kids, and I miss it. I don't miss the BS that you get with it that comes with every job. So I wouldn't go back tomorrow, you know, even if they tripled my salary or whatever. I wouldn't go back and do it and quit doing this on a full-time basis. You know, I just wouldn't do it. But I do miss that interaction, the classroom and everything, because you know, especially younger teenagers, middle school, they're just so much fun. They really are. They're a blast to pick on. So anyway, I don't know where I was going with all that, except, oh yeah, the Bobs of the world, they're out there, and they're always going to be, and it's our job to ignore the Bobs, right? Occasionally, Bob might have a good idea. So we do need to maybe skim through and see. I don't know, you probably do the same thing I do. I try to skim through a lot of comments, and right away, though, I can tell by almost the first 2 or 3 words, okay, hater, you know, delete or ignore or quit or whatever. Maybe they need to be blocked, you know. But the first few lines, first few words, you know, it just starts to become very apparent very, very, very quickly, you know. And, you know, because it's funny, because they're talking about this, maybe the same topic, the same thing. If they're talking about the video, which it might not be, you know, there's just been 89 comments on that very same topic that were exactly the opposite of what Bob has to say about it, you know, or whatever. But you know, I skim through, and you know, you know, try to lay eyes on as many comments as I can, but I don't see them all. And same with mails or messages on Facebook, as I've told you, and kind of just keep my fingers on the pulse a little bit, you know. But anyway, ignore the Bobs. The Bobs don't really count for much. They're always out there, and they always will be. But yeah, my teeth and my weight, I'm working on that, and maybe I'll talk. A lot of people ask me, like I'm a diet expert, what my plan was. What have I been doing? How did I lose the weight? And I guess that's a common question when you run somebody that's been successful to some extent. Well, the first time I was really successful, and again, I've never been like as big as my truck or anything, but I've been, yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't have thought it was that much weight. I would have thought losing 25 pounds, wow, that's going to put me as slim as I want to be, but really hasn't. I still need to go down another 10 pounds at least, maybe another 20, maybe 50. But the closest I got to where I am now, I think, and if you go back through the videos, what year was that? 2000, I don't know. In fact, I was looking at a video because someone asked me a question about it, or I needed to look at part of the video for some reason the other day. And I thought, wow, I look kind of like I do now. Or, you know, I was waiting. So that must have been during the gallbladder surgery time period, because I came home from that after a week or 4 days in the hospital. And I don't know, I can't remember everything, but I couldn't eat well or at all for a while, or I just wasn't supposed to. And I was on medications and all this kind of thing. Because it was a serious surgery. It wasn't just the usual put a couple holes in and take care of it. They had to cut me open. But I lost a fair amount of weight, and I was determined, okay, I'm going to keep this off and do it. But I didn't really keep it off. Gradually built back up over 2 or 3 years. And I had that excuse. I had that big boost, 3 days or 4 days of not eating anything. Yeah. This time it was all me. I just decided. And John was the same thing. And John and I've kind of been working on this for months. You know, even when we travel, we try to together, like SHOT Show trips and things. We try to just like eat 2 meals a day, and one of those not be very big, and that kind of thing. You know, not always successful, but trying to do that. And he's being successful too. But anyway, I'm not an expert on diet. I just decided that I could do this, and I learned some things from the last couple of times I worked on it and tried it, that I know what works for me. That's the thing. I don't know if it worked for you, but I'll talk a little bit about it. I mean, it works for me, though, that's for sure. So I'll talk about some other things first, and then, you know, people who are interested in my diet plan, you know, hang around a little bit. First, I want to mention the, what was it? Well, the video dump, you know, we did. Appreciate everybody contributing. to that party and watching those videos. If you're brand new or something, you don't know what I'm talking about, go back a few videos and look for video dump, we called it, because I told John, I don't know, when was it? It wasn't even 2 weeks ago, I guess. I said, John, we got 4 more videos. I've been looking through and kind of getting an idea where we're promoting, asking people to join the NRA. Not that that's a horrible sin or anything, but we quit accepting sponsorship from the NRA, and because of the controversies and everything, every time we post one, we get people, they're brand new or whatever they are. They're just, maybe there's some of those bobs, some of that too. But, well, you're promoting the NRA again. They come back through with some money for you. Just the usual kind of hate where people want to see the worst in a situation. And it's just an old video is all it is. And I said, why don't we just, we've got some videos in the can. Why don't we just dump all 4 of those videos, and maybe like one every day or something. And John liked the idea. He said, well, we'll just do it all at once. I said, yeah, it's an idea too. So we did. And I told him we need to do an intro video on it, let people know what the heck we're doing. We're not going out of business or something and just going to dump all the videos we have on YouTube. Again, kids, don't do that. I'm a professional. I have experience. So anyway, that was good. And I think that's all of them. Okay, I think it is. Don't call me a liar if one pops up or something, But again, it's not and one reason I wanted to talk about it, it's not because there were people. Because I said kind of what I just said, I guess, in that video. And this happens pretty often when I don't know, be addressing a topic like that. People will get mad at me sometimes. I mean, really, they almost get mad. Loyal viewers get mad. Sensible, loyal viewers get a little upset with me if I address the trolls or talk about the haters and things too much, or act like we're doing something or not doing something because of some comments or whatever, usually from haters or trolling. And it's not that. Again, I just wanted to remind everybody, we went through, a month or 2 of posting videos that had NRA plugs in them, and we're not sponsored by them anymore. That's not a big deal. Just like if we lost one of our other sponsors, the videos are up and there'll be videos posted. It takes a while, the way we operate, for anything to trickle out. Some videos we post the next day, and some, as you know, next week, next month or something. It's just, they're timeless. These I usually post about the next day or even the same day. It takes a while to render them and everything, upload them, all that, but it's usually like no longer than a day. It just depends. It's Saturday night right now, evening. So, and then I look at what did we post last? Well, I made something live this morning, the Ward's Western Field video, cool .22 rifle. Hope you've seen that. So, I want to put this up probably today or tonight even, but I don't know, maybe tomorrow or Monday. The shooting the breezes, we don't look at as, a major video. Okay, that'll make everybody happy for a week. So sometimes we just post one of these and then right after a video just before, so we don't even worry about spacing them out because they're not exactly exciting. Not that everything else is either. Thankfully, we don't have to rely on blowing up the Empire State Building to get y'all to come and watch. I mean, we might have more views. We might have 8 million views per video if we did more dramatic things, but anyway, I'm digressing as usual, aren't I? So anyway, I just want to mention that we really don't. I talk sometimes about the weird commenter, the weird trolls, or the bobs of the world, because you do see that stuff sometimes, and it's perplexing. It's weird. It's a societal phenomenon in some, or maybe it's not. I guess that's really my point. It's not a phenomenon. It's always been out there. It's just a characteristic of people, and that's the way it is. Ask anybody that's worked in a business serving the public, or depending on what it is, but like worked at a McDonald's or in retail, and ask them about the public. Well, you get to see the best and you get to see the worst of people, don't you? And even though the worst might be a small percentage, again, they can be the loudest, and the most obnoxious, and they seem to want to be seen the worst, it appears, but the Bobs of the world. So anyway, that's cool. Yeah, and several people asked me, why don't we just edit that out? I couldn't. You don't need to edit it out. It's not that big a deal. We've already got videos out there. Man, we got videos from years ago where we had a target maker that was a sponsor for a short period of time. And just different things. I see videos occasionally if I click on one and I'm wearing the Armstrong. I won't say Neil Armstrong. The bicyclist. I can't think of his first name. What was his name? Armstrong. Boy, how can I be so dumb? But I was a big fan of his watching. Tour de France every year, and I do bicycling myself on a lesser scale for sure, mostly around the place here. But when all that happened, I quit wearing that, and I've heard him interviewed. Speaking of podcasts, it was Joe Rogan, I guess, had him on. In fact, I saw it just a little bit ago. I think the interview was a couple years old, maybe. And even that, there's always two sides to everything. And that's the beauty of some of the podcasts that are out there. I don't know, you might hate Joe Rogan, or he might do something you hate, just like whoever. Ben Shapiro, you can't stand him. You might not be able to stand Dave Rubin. Who else does famous? Who's the guy that was on the Man Show? I guess he was on with Joe Rogan. Was Joe Rogan on that, or he did Fear Factor? I think back in the old days. Oh gosh, starts with an L. But has a really neat voice, has one of the biggest podcasts out there. I can't think of his name now, but they sit around and discuss things with each other for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. And whether you agree with their politics or not, they're all very intelligent is the key thing. And the interesting thing is, quite often they call this the intellectual dark web. I think these people are a part of. Jordan Peterson's kind of a part of. They're all part of that, and they all have their own little thing they're very adamant about, or their little I don't know, their political spin or something that they believe in. But whether it's religion or politics, left, right. But they get together and discuss these things very civilly. That's the key. And they don't try to beat each other up. And they really discuss in an intellectual way just different issues of the day and how they look at it. And genuinely trying to understand the other's point of view. That kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with any of these people. And again, you may hate some of them, but I find some of those discussions, because they're long, there's not a lot of commercial breaks, I find them very interesting. Yeah, I really do. Those people are really impressive, even if I don't agree with them on a lot of things. Like a lot of Joe Rogan's politics, I don't think I would agree with, but I love his style and the way he interviews people. And he's a sharp guy too. So anyway, I probably just made some people mad by even mentioning those names. And that's kind of part of the problem. People just can't listen to what other folks have to say and without getting upset. It's an interesting thing. But anyway, I don't know how I got off on all that, but it's a changing world in a big way, in a very big way. And people seem to be awfully quick to get upset. The social media mob is always out there waiting on people, just waiting for somebody to trip up, looking for somebody to gang up on. They really are. And everybody talks about Twitter, the Twitter mob, the Twitterverse and Twitter universe and all that kind of thing, coming after people. And it's funny, ironically, as much as I'm on social media, mainly Facebook, a little Instagram, and of course YouTube, and the posts I make on Facebook, I think, appear on Twitter. I don't know about the Instagram, but I never go to Twitter. I need to go there occasionally and just post something maybe. We have a lot of followers there, but it's the things we post are from, like I say, Facebook or Instagram. That's the stuff that goes there too. And I hear people talking about how, like in media on news or something, or people having a discussion talking about Twitter, and someone sent them a message on Twitter or retweeted their tweet, or was giving them a hard time about a tweet and all that kind of thing. And it's weird because I guess I post there pretty often. I don't even realize it, but I don't go there, so I don't know. There may be all kinds of hate for us on Twitter, and I never see it, or messages. I've never read a message on Twitter. I mean, honest, I never have. I'm not sure even if I could tell you how to get to the messages. There's probably a box that says messages, yeah. So a lot of people are on Twitter, and well, let's put things there too. And so it's just automatic. It goes there if I do it on Facebook and maybe Instagram, I'm not sure. So anyway, but in this world of social media, just for my social media lesson for the week, and I talk about this largely because it's an area of interest for me. It's just a strange piece of humanity that I didn't deal with at all in my life up until, 8 or 10 years ago. It wasn't a part of my life. I have one of those lives where most of my life was very normal. No cell phone. You just had to let people know where you were going, and if you need to reach me, call so and so. And just out doing stuff, and no concern about what's on a computer screen. Didn't have a computer. No one had a computer or anything like that. So that's beginning to sound like freaking Davy Crockett pioneer days. Really, when you think about it, I find myself when I'm watching a movie that is either set back in whatever the 60s or 70s or 80s, or it was filmed at that time. It might just be some cop show that was filmed in the 80s or something. And it's just there's not computers on people's desks. There's no cell phones, and they're having to get to a phone to call somebody, and they're not always checking stuff on a phone. It's becoming more and more unusual looking, isn't it? You know what I mean? You see those old movies, whether you're young or old. But there's definitely some disadvantages to the social media craziness. It's a double-edged sword. It's wonderful. I wouldn't be doing what we're doing, if it weren't for it. But boy, it has that other side. And I noticed you see more and more of people swearing off of social media, like for a day or for the weekend, or for, speaking of Dave Rubin, I saw caught something on him. He had spent 30 days or 33 days totally away from all screens and social media and phone and everything. How would that be for a change? Yeah, how'd you adjust to that? So there's more and more on that. More people are doing that and writing and talking about the negative side of it. We just kind of assumed it was all good, I think, for a long time. But it's something to think about. It's something to think about. You might want to put that phone away for a day sometime when you're not especially going to be needing to be in contact with somebody that's really important, or just let them know, hey, I'm going somewhere, I'm going camping, and there's no signal, or something, or make up a story. There's no signal where I'm going this weekend. I'll be out of touch. Write me a letter. Send the police to get me if you need me. But anyway, so what else? Well, one thing, before we go too far, I wanted to thank our sponsors. We got a new sponsor, AppMix. You've seen a video, I'm sure, by now with AppMix. I think I kind of hinted at it in the last Shooting the Breeze. But anyway, it's pretty cool having them as a sponsor, particularly as they're not really a part of the shooting world, in any pure sense. And I've ordered from them. John's ordered from them. I threw one of these in my pocket. I've always liked. I think a lot of people are into guns. I've always liked silver dollars. In fact, when I was teaching, I always had one in my pocket. You folks, if you were in my class, know what I'm talking about. At least the last, 15 years, I guess. I'll keep one in my pocket, and just as a fidget toy for one thing. And I would flip it for whether we had a pop quiz or not. We call it the pop quiz coin. And almost every day in some class, they got harassed by the pop quiz coin. And I'd say call it, or I'd let them flip it and call it, all kind of thing. And then the last day of school, I would flip it to a worthy student at random, and they could have it. and that was theirs. They got the pop quiz coin. That year's pop quiz coin was kind of the, I don't know what it was. That's an award, a booby prize, or what, but somebody got that at the end of each year. But I've always liked coins like that, and I had ordered from APMEX before, so I just wrote them one day to be interested in being a sponsor, and we talked for months, I think, about different things, and finally kind of worked it out. So we're happy to have them on board, and of course, as we are with everybody, buds and Federal, Premium, my gosh, what they do for us, and of course SDI and Talon Grips, and Valstall, some sponsorship. So we're really fortunate to have help from people that don't put us in any conflict with anything. And that was one of the things about the NRA. We talked about that because they reached out to us, and I remember showing John the letter, the email, that day probably or second, and we talked about it. Can we do that? Can we do that? Because that's the question we asked you. Can we do that? And that's come up a few times. When various things come up that want to do something for us. Can we do that? Because when we think that, what that means is, does that create a conflict, or does that do something about the transparency that we try to maintain, and does it pass the smell test? And even if it does, is it going to pass the smell test for our viewers? Like I say, transparent. Even if, like, the Colt or whoever, Glock or anybody else might say, hey, we want to give you these 5 guns or something. You be honest, tell us what you think about it, do reviews. It doesn't matter what you like, whether you like them or not, Well, we could be honest, because we're going to be honest in what we think about them, but still, if they gave us a handful of Glocks or M&Ps or whatever it is, still, is everybody out there in viewership land going to trust that we're being totally honest? So, we just can't do things like that. So we always talk about it. And we came to the conclusion on the NRA that, well, I've always been an NRA member and supported the NRA, even went their warts. And if we have to say no, can't promote the NRA, well, why am I a member then? We don't review gun rights organizations. That's the big criteria. It's something we review. So like if we reviewed throwing tomahawks, throwing axes, then I couldn't accept the free, which I don't think I've got any free ones from anybody, but I couldn't accept the free axes. So we said, there'll be some people who don't like the NRA who won't like it, but that comes up with everything. Doesn't matter what you do. There's some people who don't like it. Whoa, how's that for profound, right? So we went ahead with it, and over the, I guess, couple of years, then there were some decisions, and a lot of people didn't think that the NRA responded correctly or was doing the right thing with whether it's bump stocks or what are some of the other issues that came along. And so it became more and more controversial. And we kind of stood our ground because we felt like, John and I just personally felt like, well, all things considered, they probably took the best approach they could take on this or this position, and maybe they screwed up here. But so it wasn't anything like they just totally stepped in it, and we didn't want to be affiliated with them any longer yet. But there were things coming down the pike occasionally. And then I got my timer clock down here trying to glance at, but then when it started coming out, all the internal stuff, I said, I don't know. This is just the last straw, I think. It's one thing to not agree with maybe a stance or an approach, a strategy that an organization is taking, but they're trying their best or trying to do the right thing, the smart thing, maybe thinking long term and whatever. But you add to that a lot of internal excesses and the things that we know have taken place. We just can't ask, especially where it involves money, And so, okay, so we're going to stand up and ask people to send the NRA our money, with this going on. So I think y'all understood that. I'm belaboring the point. I realize, again, I'm not an enemy of the NRA. I'm looking for better things out of them, and we will not take sponsorship from them again, or any gun rights group. But I am looking for better things, from them. So anyway, let's talk about sponsorship a little bit, inside baseball stuff. So, and of course, there are people who resent the fact that anybody who has a YouTube channel, they're still thinking back the old days, or they're thinking about them and their buddies and their 10-year-old daughter who has a YouTube channel, and they think that we and others like us have violated some code of behavior by actually having sponsorship. It's just a freaking YouTube channel. Who you think you are? Well, as I've said before, if they had even 50,000 subscribers, they'd be scouring the hills for some kind of sponsorship. Probably their channel would look like a NASCAR, event, probably. But anyway, enough on that. What about the Walmart thing? People have been asking me about that. You going to do a video on that? Well, no, probably not a video. I'll talk about it right now. I talk about everything, basically, as you know. Your ears are still hurting from that if you watch these. I touch on everything in either FAQ videos or Shooting the Breeze. We just don't have a whole slew of videos. Every time there's an issue that's on that issue. Gun rights is always an issue, and gun control, the side of it. So Walmart, oh man, that's another one that it makes me mad. Not so, well, kind of at Walmart too, but it just the retail world in general, because that's just a symptom. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Walmart recently announced that they're no longer going to sell handgun ammo or ammunition for short-barreled rifles. Really what they mean is for AK rounds or 5.56, 223 assault rifles, right? And what else? And they don't want you carrying open in their store. Okay, and of course somebody, the idiots that go in trying to test the place, like the goofball right after the Walmart shooting he goes into Walmart wearing a plate and ammo pouches, and I guess it was an AR pistol or something on his chest, trying to test Walmart, because I'm legal, by golly, I'm legal, I'm not doing anything illegal. No, you're not, but you're kind of ruining it for everybody else that likes to open carry, and they just want to not have to leave their gun in the car, and they're not carrying concealed. I know people like that. I'm in a rural county, and I can name a couple of people. I see them every now and then. One of them used to do some car work for me, and he always has a gun on, and well, so do I, but he just carries open. He's not trying to show off his gun, really. It's just what he does. It's easier to carry that way for him, or he's not worried about, doesn't have to worry about a cover garment or anything. So it kind of runs it for people like that, in a lot of ways. But anyway, it's more of a society problem. It's the image problem now with so many shootings that's bogus. Of course, most of the shootings are in Chicago, right, with handguns. It's not rifles and assault rifles. And you've heard the stats, hopefully by now. This is, 3% of murders take place with a rifle to begin with or something. So it's a feel-good thing. It makes Walmart feel like they're really doing things. Plus, they put out some statements in support of gun control, haven't they? So it's not just changing their policy. I don't know, it sounds to me like they're trying to become social justice warriors, make sure they sell lots of underwear and soap powder, I guess, And that's the problem. They don't want to alienate the people buying soap powder. And that's part of the problem. These stores, they make most of their money. I know Walmart sells a lot of ammo and guns, but they make most of their money, obviously, from all that other stuff, from China, all that other stuff they sell. And they don't want to jeopardize that business. And it's part of the problem with the dicks, that anybody go there anymore, or gun people at least. They got this big box store full of running shorts and everything else, and jerseys, and just like Walmart and Kmart and Target and all of these big box stores. So they want to stay out of the controversy. I understand. My first thought was, I even told somebody, well, I've not been happy with Walmart anyway. I'm ready to totally just drive on by them and find a Target or somewhere else, But Target quit selling that stuff long ago. They don't sell it. They quit selling it too. It just hadn't been in the news lately. They didn't do it last week. Kmart, I think, used to sell guns. They don't do any. Kmart's out of business anyway, right? Sears is about gone. If they were still really alive and doing well, I guess Walmart killed them. They would probably be doing the same thing. Yeah. So that's a slowly changing thing in the retailer and the society. That, I mean, I blame Walmart, and I have a bad taste in my mouth over them now for sure. But it's a bigger problem than just Walmart. It's that image issue. On the positive side of it, maybe some of the smaller gun shops, it'll be a boost. It ought to be a boost for them, is my point. For example, all the bulk ammo, all the ammo that has been being shipped to Walmart, say in the Nashville area, all right, whatever that is, if it's 100 pallets a month or whatever, all that ammo, all calibers, that they're not going to sell anymore. They're not going to buy it. Well, if all that is shipped to the local gun shops, let them sell it, and maybe they can't sell this cheap, but they can make some kind of profit margin on it. It may help the firearms industry in a lot of ways. A lot of these little gun shops, stay in business. Of course, it'll help the online business, I guess, too, for ammo. But I've been in a few gun shops this week, and I mentioned something to that effect, that I think it's a good time for them to see what kind of deals you can get on ammo. It's a lot of work. If you've got a gun shop, I realize you don't even have a lot of extra room. But I'd like to see every gun shop in the country that doesn't already do it, clear out a corner, or an aisle somewhere, and it's a lot of work. I remember Guns and Leather, and they still sell a lot of ammo in Greenbrier. I remember they had a pretty long shelf, 2 or 3 shelves high, and they always had, before their store burnt, and now their bag is not quite as much space, I don't think, but they kept a lot of, and they have a lot now, but they'd be in there heaving cases of ammo around to keep the full cases underneath, and then put some up on the shelf. There's just a lot of ammo coming in and out of there. I don't know what kind of profit margin they made on it, that kind of thing. They're competing with Walmart, but now that Walmart's not selling all that ammo, maybe the gun shops, they got some people that are young and muscular, and just, even though you're not making a ton of money on some of that, and I can't tell them their business. I've not really been in that kind of retail, but if they can make anything at all on that, it would be great. It brings people into the store, that's for sure, and they may buy a gun, even if they're not making a ton on the ammo. But the fact that it's there, like, man, I need a bunch of 9mm, best price I can get it. Yeah, well, store A or store B comes to my mind, they'll have it. They'll have it. It'll bring people in. So, hopefully retail gun shops can take up the slack, is what I'm saying. And it may not be easy, but that's one of the things. So many gun shops, they don't really have that much ammo, right? They might have carry ammo, almost, or at least enough. You can find it, but maybe not the brand you want or whatever. But they're going to have 3 or 4 at least different boxes of 9mm good carry ammo and that kind of thing. But as far as range ammo, it's usually rather limited, isn't it? And limited in bulk packs and that kind of thing. You don't see much of that in gun shops. Now, some you do, but a lot of them you don't. Maybe this will change that, and it'll create a new market locally in a lot of the gun shops. I don't know. That's just me thinking out loud. which is kind of dangerous, right? Well, what have we been doing lately? Besides throwing axes. We've been shooting a lot. Like next week, John's going to be out of town, and I may be up at Friendship for a day. So we're not going to be doing any videos next week, don't reckon. So we did several this week, and had a lot of fun guns out. My gosh, the M60, you saw, hopefully, the video on that, or 2 or 3 videos on that. That was a beast. I don't guess I've done a shooting the breeze since we did that. Don't think I have, but that's a cool piece to play with. I mean, I don't have any desire to own one, but yeah, it's just, as I always say, interesting to shoot something that's iconic, you know, piece of America or any country, that a main battle rifle or a main infantry rifle, or just whatever it is, the carry gun of Czechoslovakia, you know, or whatever it might be, something that was carried by a lot of people, and they might have gone to war with it. And to have that same firearm and experience it, and, you know, take it apart, see how it works, and to fire it, and it's just interesting. So that was fun. Heavy old bird, no doubt about it. What else? With Python, I got it out for a video this week. It does 6-inch Python. I think I had it in Shooting the Breeze, showing it off. Let's see, BLR. I posted a picture on Instagram of that. Browning BLR, lever action 308. Okay, pretty cool gun. Pretty cool. I didn't spend the whole video bashing it like you might expect me to, because I'm a traditionalist. You know, like I did the Chiappa Rhino. Because it's just really a nice rifle. Okay, fits me like a glove, and you know, it just works. In the video, you'll see we were having a little issue with getting clicks a couple of times, and I thought I was short shucking it and didn't get the round picked up. And I realized after once or twice, wait a minute, there was a round I jacked out of there. So I'm just getting a light strike or something. So I made a point in the video, well, let me use more authority. So I worked that lever up and down with authority, and I never had that issue. So I don't know if it was getting a little dirty or something, or the ammo, specific ammo. Some guns are more sensitive to some ammo than others. But as long as I was doing it with not aggression, but, you know, with some strength, I didn't have any problem. And then a friend of mine I shoot with sometimes, he's always talked about one of those. So I hung on to that. I didn't send it back to Bud's for a couple of days, and I let him try it out. We shot it a few more times, and we didn't have that happen. So I don't know if he's a little bit dirty or whatever. But anyway, when you see that video, that's nothing to, I guess, be concerned about with that particular gun. But it's really well made. Seems really well made. The Trapper, yeah, the Trapper. The Marlin Stp Trapper. Okay, you know that little stainless steel rifle? It's almost like a handgun that I have. It's less than a yard long, I think. We did another video with that, and that thing is beyond cool. I tell you what it reminded me. It seemed like am I losing my mind, or is it deja vu all over again, or what? It seemed like I remember telling y'all about this, but maybe it was in the video I talked about it. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I was talking about it in the video. We just did it this week. But what reminded me, I saw a posting on Gunbroker for one of those, that Trapper STP. And somebody was asking like $5,500, I think, for the base price or something. You know, they probably didn't get it. I don't know. You may not get 3,000. You may not get 2,000. I don't know. But I have seen people really pricing those things like crazy, and I thought, wow, that reminded me of the gun. So I dug it out, and we did an again video with that, because it's just pretty cool and collectible. Man, that's one where I lucked in on. As far as the value, I don't want to sell it or anything, but as far as lucking into something, which doesn't happen that often, does it, with any of us? It's like someone goes to Vegas and they brag about making $500 or 2,000 or whatever. Yeah, well, tell me about all your trips to Vegas. Where are you overall the last 20 years? Oh, well, yeah, I'm down about 10,000, but yeah, I won 500 this last year. They tend to forget about those, right? But that is one I lucked in on because I was in Guns and Leather, speaking of the devil, years, I don't know if that was before I started doing videos or not. It's been several years back. And I just saw it there. I see that, and I didn't know it was a limited edition. And they had just gotten it in. And it was pretty pricey, at the time especially. Because it was like $700, and I had 4570s. And I'm thinking that's what I paid. It was 6 something, I think, almost 700, I believe. I could look it up, but and I just messed with it a while, and was actually looking at something else there, but I couldn't get it off my mind. I don't need this, but this thing is just so cool. And I ended up buying it, and then I did some research on it, and as time moved on, and realized, wow, these things are really 500 of them, in this format, and people, after the first video, people write me wanting to buy it, and I think I told you one fellow offered me crazy money for it. It's just a neat gun, so I looked into that one, and I don't think of it as an investment or anything. I'm gonna shoot it and enjoy it, but we did a video with that. You saw the AK video, the Maudie that John did. It's always fun to get out an AK, and again, if you're not familiar with the AK, if you think of it as an evil firearm, and there's some people that think any of the assault rifle, those black rifles are evil. Again, are the teeth of the Second Amendment. Speaking of teeth, and I here I go off course again. It just rips me up, when innocent people are killed too. It's happening right now, though, somewhere, right? It's happening all over the country and the planet. And again, rifles account for such a minuscule number. It's horrible when something like that happens, a mass shooting, just people minding their own business in a Walmart or wherever, for sure. But there's no need arguing about whether a gun is dangerous or this gun's more dangerous than that one. They'd all better be dangerous, or what good's the Second Amendment? Duh. This thing had better be dangerous, or what good is it as a camp axe? It better be sharp. There had better be a chance I could hurt myself with it, or it's of no use. That means I can't cut that log, that stick there for firewood, if it doesn't have the capability of me dropping on my leg and cutting my leg. If it doesn't have that, what value is it, Same with the firearm. There's going to be risk involved in a free society, and as horrible as it is sometimes because of the insanity out there, guns are very dangerous tools. They can be very dangerous tools. They are very dangerous tools, at least potentially, Hey, consequently, the Second Amendment is strong. So, if you're new to shooting, new to firearms, you're a young person, try not to, and maybe your parents and people in your school and everybody, is trying to convince everybody else how horrible some firearms are, because really bad things happen occasionally. Try to use common sense and look at the statistics. Be aware. If you are in a home or in a family, maybe you're 25, maybe you're 15, maybe you're 30, but maybe your family members are not really into firearms, and you don't know many people into firearms. If someone's got a couple of handguns or something, or a shotgun, that kind of thing, you like guns, and you're the gal who goes around saying, well, I believe in the Second Amendment, I've got a couple of 9mm, but, that old but nobody needs an AR-15. Nobody needs an AK, that kind of thing. If you're one of those, think about it, study it up a little bit. These things have been around a long time. People have owned them for a long time. I bought my first AR-15 in 83, 84. You've seen it. And AKs soon after, at an H&K 93 in 80. Wow, that had to be 83, 83 for sure, maybe 82. I guess 82 maybe. You know, I mean, people always have them, and you may not even be aware of that. That's one thing I think a lot of people are not aware of. They hear the numbers maybe occasionally, but you know, like, I don't know what's the number. I hear 16 million AR-15s out there. And I don't know how accurate that number is. And of course, that's not counting AKs and all other sorts of rifles like that. So, what might there be in civilians' hands? 30, 50 million. I don't know what the number would be. Magazines that hold 30 rounds or more, they've been around forever. Uh, Boy, the number on that, there's got to be a billion of those or more. I don't know. What are you going to do? Try to take that stuff up? Try to confiscate all that stuff, you know? So you got that side of it. You're not going to be able to confiscate it, for one thing, even if you want to. You know, even if I'll say somebody, we'll say third person here, you're not going to get this stuff. If you got 5% of it, you've done nothing, you know? So anyway, again, it's the teeth of the Second Amendment, and Second Amendment is nothing about hunting. I want to gag. I keep hearing politicians, oh man, running for office, you know, here. I mean, over and over, you know, why would anybody need that for hunting? They know what they're doing. They're just playing to their ignorant base. That's all they're doing. I mean, anybody who has a high school education should know what the Second Amendment is about and why the founding fathers were so adamant about that. Okay, they just come from a tyrannical situation. You know, it was to prevent government tyranny. They didn't care about hunting. That wasn't the purpose of that. You know, it was to keep government in check. Look around the world where that has not happened. You know, the government has not been in check. You want to see murders, mayhem. There you go. How about genocide? You know. But anyway, it's messy, and you know. And again, I don't have the answer. You know, and none of you really has the answer. All I know is that I am willing to take the risk of being killed myself when I'm at Walmart or a grocery store, wherever it might be, at a concert. I'm willing to take the risk, okay, for the freedom. So you may not, and you're working against that. You're working against me and people of my mindset, and that's fine. Work at it, and then we're going to work against you. You know, that's all I can say. You know, for me, it's worth it. You know, so. Anyway, sad situation. People mind their own business, you know, in places, and that happens. And again, we need more people with carry permits and being able to respond very, very quickly when these things happen, you know, because it doesn't take a Navy SEAL really to respond to these things. I mean, it does. Easy for me to say. I'm not there. I'm not implying that. I'm just saying this is not like a highly trained, you know, Navy SEAL or highly trained person in 99.9% of cases that's going to go into Walmart or go somewhere and shoot people, right? It's some sick individual who often has very little or no experience with firearms, and they're not planning to be shot at. That's why they go to gun-free zones and areas like that almost all the time. And if all of a sudden the shot's coming back in their direction, they're most likely going to go ahead and take their own life, which is what their plan was to begin with, and at the very least go in the other direction. You know, doesn't have to be a Navy SEAL out there shooting at them. It could be a blue-haired grandma, you know. So, and a lot of people, that's one reason a lot of people refer to the gun they carry. A lot of people are not even big gun guys. I had a guy call me not long ago I used to work with, and was asking me about a gun. He said, well, I just want a get off me gun, you know, a get off me gun, you know, something. You're not looking to, you know, save the world or take out the terrorists or take out the bad guys and you know, step into stuff. Just leave me alone, you know, because generally speaking, nobody's going to continue approaching you if you have a firearm, right? And you will use it, or you even fire a shot if you had to. You know, they're probably going to change their minds. Okay, so anyway, I'm rambling. Imagine that. What else have we been shooting? The rolling block. Got the rolling block out. Put some black powder cartridges through it. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm anxious to get some of the muzzle loaders out, and gotta get on that later this month when John gets back, and we get back here in about a week. We got some plans for the old front stuffers, as we call them, because they are really fun. And if I get the Friendship, I'll really have the fever. Plus, in the fall, I get that fever anyway to shoot a muzzle loader. I'm not sure why that is exactly, but after hanging around up there in Friendship, Indiana at the National Muzzleloader Shoot, yeah, boy, you really get the fever. So I've got 2 or 3 planned for that, and we got a couple of cool videos. I think if I get it put together, I've kind of mentioned that I won't go into it right now, but it involves handguns, a lot of handguns that we're going to do pretty soon. So we're having fun, you know, and I've taken too long again. I've taken, gosh, about almost an hour, I think, at this point. But yeah, we're still having fun. It's just, I don't know if it's exhilarating, but one of the things that keeps it really interesting is to have such a variety, you know, of firearms, and to be able to just, well, like call up buds or email and say, hey, like when I for example, yesterday, I guess I wrote and had them send me, asked them to send me the IWI Masada. You know, we've not done anything on that yet. And I got, it's not in yet. And then the other day, yesterday, I guess, the day before, I got in an RIA, what's it, M200, yeah, revolver, okay, double action revolver. Okay, so made in the Philippines, basically a $200 gun, 200 and change. So that's pretty amazing, isn't it? So I'm not fired it yet. But so there's some things like that, and it's just nice to be able to do that because we get requests for these things, you know, and thankfully you all remind me, you know, because some things I just wouldn't be aware of maybe, or I would forget about, and I do have a long to-do list, but you all keep reminding me of what we need to, oh, I know someone's going to talk about before going for, okay, and then we'll wrap it up. Many of you asked, several people were asking how I lost the weight. And I'm not a hero. I just lost 25 pounds, but everybody's metabolism is different, right? Some people have even harder time losing, you know, weight and do whatever they can and exercise like crazy and can't seem to get anywhere and all this. Everybody's different, but yeah, we all are the same in a lot of ways too, right? Well, for me, and John has used kind of a lot of the same methods. I won't speak for him, but I learned many years ago, whenever I was trying to lose a little weight or whatever, that one thing that helped me, if I just wouldn't eat, yeah, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not a nutritionist, so don't necessarily follow what I do. You might go into some kind of weird cardiac arrest or something. But I discovered if I just kind of quit eating in early afternoon, you know, and that did more for me than even exercise. You know, and that's one of the basic things too. Let me give about 3 real basics that worked for me. First of all, and I exercise, and I can exercise more and step it up or step it down, but I have discovered that changing how much I eat is way more effective than even exercise. Okay, so my weight loss is not dependent on exercise, although I've tried to walk more and bike a little more, but lots of days I don't. It's really, it's what I eat, it's what I put in my mouth. Okay, so that might be a clue, because I think in the old days I always thought, well, I just need to exercise more, I'm picking up some weight. I don't know, you'd think it would work. I think maybe it causes you to eat a little more or something, and I don't know, it's offset. So eating less, and that's not necessarily the best news, but that's what it takes from me. And other thing, 2 things, get you a good scale, bathroom scale, or just a good scale. You know, it goes down to the tenths of the pound, I guess all of them do. And weigh religiously, either every morning or every night before you get into bed. I do it every night before I get into bed, last thing I do. And I write it down, I keep a little pad, and I put the date and my weight. I just write it down. I started out 260, and I'm down to 230, actually about 234 right now, probably when I go weigh. Okay, I've been 235 for about a week, you know, in that area. And I'm kind of working my way down another pound or two, and I want to get down to the 220s. But that's really key, really key. I mean, I guess the Weight Watchers program, whatever that involves, you had discovered that a long time ago. But that is very important. Weigh every day at the same time, and maybe in the morning and evening. I weigh usually in the morning too. Just, it's interesting to note. You need to become, I think the secret is become an expert in your body and when you have more weight than other times of the day and everything, and what you weigh. Like I weigh a couple pounds less in the morning usually when I get up than I did the night before, maybe a pound and a half. There's a difference, you know. So John weighs in the morning, I think I weigh at night. But it's interesting to see. So when I get up in the morning, like if I'm 234, for example, tonight, I'll be maybe 232.4 or something, you know, in the morning. It kind of gives you motivation. Okay, I'm 232 something. Yeah, maybe I keep those extra pounds off today. You know, it just kind of makes you aware of and then when because then, yeah, okay, I've been doing real well today. I'm gonna eat that ice cream, or I'm gonna have another piece of pie or something, or I'm gonna eat a full dinner. I don't normally do that. Whatever. Well, when I weigh that night, there it is on the scale. I ate that dinner. That's why I'm up a pound instead of flat or down. And so it keeps it really in touch with you. I guess it's like if you're exercising, you're monitoring your pulse or something, you know. So you become an expert. And just like today, like right now, if I had something here I was munching on, I just know, okay, this tastes good, but I'm not going to be where I want to be when I weigh tonight, probably because of this. It just makes you more aware of all that. And you don't have to make it a terroristic kind of thing, you know, break the diet occasionally or whatever, but just you'll know that when you're breaking it. That's the thing. Know when you're breaking. It's like keeping a budget. Gosh, for about almost 30 years, I kept a budget on a spreadsheet, and it's kind of one I created myself on my own spreadsheet, and it's really I've come to learn it's kind of a genius thing that I do, really, because it has helped me. Here I am calling myself a genius, but I know I may spend money on things I shouldn't spend or whatever else, but I know how much money I have all the time, anytime, with a quick glance, you know, in any category, including my just below it category, whatever, buy whatever I want to buy. I always know that, you know, right down to the penny, basically. I don't obsess over pennies or dollars, but I know what it is. So it's kind of like that, just knowing what you weigh all the time, and it helps you stay honest. It really does. So that's key. Then as far as eating, I just I don't get up and eat a bunch of eggs and toast like I used to more often. I mean, I might do it one day, but I'll just eat. I eat light for breakfast, and I eat kind of a normal lunch. Might even eat more than I should sometimes, but I eat, you know, I had a pretty big lunch today, a casserole. Yeah, even had some bread. But then that's kind of it for the day. Okay? I might drink a thing of Boost or something tonight. My teeth, you know, if they were in better shape, I might eat a few chips. Okay, I've discovered, like with corn chips or Tostitos or something, just nothing, not a health food necessarily, but in trying not to eat like after whatever, noon or 1 or 2, not eat much at all. Just something that's good, like a peach or an apple or a few chips without overdoing it, just something like that. And I've noticed it doesn't like eliminate or cancel out my not eating. Just eat a few chips or something like that, even, because you got to have some, you know, what do you call it? Feel good food. I forget what people call that, but yeah, eat something like that's fine. But basically, eating very little after you know, noon or early afternoon. That's really the secret for me. Okay, a light breakfast and not eating junk between meals, and then go ahead and have a normal lunch. So I look forward to lunch every day. You know, there's some things I'm having trouble eating now, but oh my God, I look back on it before I started my dental work. I'm so glad. I think the day before, whatever, I told my wife, let's go to P.F. Chang. I love P.F. Chang, Chinese food. and I'll eat a big meal in case I have trouble eating it afterwards. Yeah, right. Good thing I did it. I wish I'd done it every day for a week now. But so I had a normal lunch, and I look forward to lunch. That's my, yeah, we all love food, don't we? We all have our favorites, and well, the way I do it, I go ahead and eat that. I don't eat as much bread. If I eat bread with a meal now, I just kind of nibble it, eat a smaller amount of it, or no bread at all. But other than that, I pretty much have normal lunch, just normal lunch. And I've always eaten kind of healthy for a long time anyway. I don't really eat much meat. I eat fish a lot and a little chicken, and I love broccoli and spinach and all that, the vegetables and all that kind of stuff anyway. And I go ahead and eat it, okay, for lunch. Just have a regular lunch pretty well, okay? So that's kind of my secret. I can't think of any other big secrets to it, so I don't guess I could make $1 million on a diet book, right? There's no magic like take a maple leaf from this tree and mix it every day with some juice and you will lose weight. You just have to eat less. I mean, that's all. That's the genius, really. Eat less, and monitor it. Monitor it. How many of you know how much you weigh right now? Just even if you're not even planning a diet, I would recommend that. It'll let you know, and look at your charts and how much you're supposed to weigh or whatever, maybe to make yourself feel a little guilty. Maybe you'll get started on something like that. But just weigh, and I was afraid to get on the scales for a while because I knew belt getting tight and all of that, and I knew just from seeing myself in some of the videos, I bet I'm back up to 260 or more. And I may have been more, but when I decided to start doing something about it and actually had enough gumption to stand on the scales, I was at 260. I might have been 265. I don't know, but anyway, I started at 260 recording it, and I record every day. I don't fret over it. I just keep a pen and paper, like in the bathroom pantry closet there, and I just pull it out, jump on the scale, write it down, put it back. I don't sit around studying it and worrying about it. And if I didn't lose something that day, or if I'm up some, I make a mental note of that, and I like I said, I realize why. I can always trace it to, I had a big lunch, and then I had that ice cream, and then I had that bottle of Boost also, and whatever, so that's why I didn't lose anything today, or why I crept back up. And of course you got variance anyway, just how much water you lost today or whatever, but anyway, that's my big secret. So I won't charge anything for that, okay? The only other huge ingredient, of course, is self-discipline, which we all have trouble with, don't we? Yeah, we do. And I'm working on my teeth, like I say. That's always a lot of fun. I don't know how different I sound. Again, I don't think I sound dramatically different, or it's anything annoying, hopefully. But I can tell a little bit in different times of day. As we move forward, we'll see. Hopefully it'll get better. And a lot of you say they can't tell any difference, I know, but there's a little difference. Maybe it's mostly just me, the feel of it and everything. But anyway, stuff we all go through, teeth, weight, and listening to people on YouTube talk too long. It's just something we all suffer through, right? I guess I forget. People keep asking me to do a podcast. I don't think I have enough worthwhile stuff to do podcasts and go through, getting that in the right place and all that sort of thing, unless I decided I want to be a podcaster, too, and put one up every 3 days or something, and interview people and all that. I don't know. Maybe in my next career I'll do that, but I guess I assume too much that people have unlimited data on their phones, because I didn't until about 6 months ago myself, and I just think, well, what difference does it make if there's a picture? You don't have to look at it, you can just hear me. But I do realize your phone's tied up, or you may not have unlimited data, and it does make a difference, doesn't it? But I called one day, I may have told you, and had I was going to check into just having unlimited data instead of what I had pretty much. And so I called to see Verizon, to see how different it would be, per month, to see what it would cost. If it's going to be another $100 or 50 or 25 or 30, if it wasn't too bad, I was going to upgrade. And it just turned out, because of my plans and everything, it stayed exactly the same. Oh, okay, can't hate that. And which means they were overcharging me before, I guess. So I'm unlimited data, and so I put on a podcast on my phone, but I don't even use earbuds most of the time. I just put it in my pocket, shirt pocket. Oh, I had another coin in there. Yeah, American Silver Eagle. What did I do with that dollar? Probably lost it. Must have stuck it in that part. But so I keep up with Tom Gresham, and everybody, and a lot of podcasters, and occasionally a video, but not, when I'm walking, I like to just have something to listen to. Okay. So anyway, that's all I got to say, right? That's all I should have to say. My timer only goes to an hour, and I've exceeded that. So that's okay. That weeds out the haters, because when they see a video, it weeds out a lot of loyal viewers too, probably. They say, oh, Cox posted shooting the breed. Okay. Oh, it's only 2 hours and 13 minutes long. Good. Let me listen to that real quick. Yeah, how you do that? No, anyway, I enjoy talking to you all. You're a quiet bunch, and enjoy doing the videos for you. One thing I mentioned, I don't know, John and I keep talking about this. Maybe get some valid input from you. I know everybody hates YouTube and Google. They're taking over the world and the issues we have there. But this Patreon thing, and we should have the Patreon account there, and a couple thousand of you at least are over there, and we don't push it. We don't have a bunch of different tiers and offer a lot of prizes and anything like that. We just keep it simple, and it takes like $1. And many of you had contacted us wanting us to do that. Well, we're not planning to miss any meals or anything, but we went ahead and did it, and so we've got a following over there, and we post videos early over there, and sometimes some extra content. We haven't done that lately, but I try to give sneak previews on videos and things like that over there. I'm not telling you all this to promote it. I'm telling you all this because a lot of you don't know about it maybe, but Patreon is seemingly clamped down a lot. You probably heard about that, and I know some people left and unsubscribed from there just because of what Patreon's doing. They don't want to be a part of Patreon, and then we don't either if they're being heavy-handed about firearms and things, really. So John and I have talked about, and plus that kind of thing, we get most of our revenue from sponsors. We just want to give the people that want to do something an avenue for that, though, and so we're thinking about moving from there to the members thing on YouTube. It might make more sense. Okay, real simple, same thing we set up on Patreon, basically just like a small fee, and that's it. There's not $5, $10, $30 level if you do this and that kind of thing. We've never had anything like that. But the YouTube thing looks like a really simple system, and so I don't know. We're thinking about that. I don't know if you all use that, or any negatives with that. I know you got negatives with YouTube in general. Well, we do too. But versus Patreon, we're thinking that might be an alternative. Okay, it's not something we just forget to even talk about it, really. But every now and then it comes up, and we'll hear about somebody having trouble on Patreon and some of the heavy-handedness over there. So we might want to leave there too. We'll let you know if we do. You all that are members or Patreon, we'll give you a warning on all that and let you know what we're doing. But I just wondered if anybody had any input, especially your members. Do you have any input on that, or anything you'd like to share? About that versus the members thing. We just like to keep it simple, though. So anyway, I guess I'll shut up, or I'm going to take 2 hours, aren't I? So appreciate you all watching what we do, because again, you are the reason that we can do what we do. I mean, that's just simple. And don't ever think we don't appreciate it or ever forget it. Only reason we get someone bringing a M60 out here to show you and to shoot it is because you all watch, okay, in pretty big numbers. That's it. That's the reason. So so I never forget it, and again, that's why, you know, people often recognize me. I was at a home show today, and there were 3 or 4 people, and they will sometimes say, "Sorry to bother you," and everything. They're just being polite, of course, but it's never a bother. It's never a bother. I mean, you folks are the ones that pay the bills, basically, and you're the reason that we're able to do what we do. Yeah, I mean, it's just a fact. It's not just something that sounds good or something that's nice to say or to show that I'm appreciative or anything like that. It's literally a fact, you know. So I've always felt that way, that you guys are the ones, you gals, I say guys, meaning common gender, like, maybe you can't do that anymore, but you all are the reason, and I've always said that and sincerely meant it and mean it. I mean, it's just a fact of life. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, I appreciate all of you, and you better say hi, you know, if you see me anywhere, and people do, you know. Of course, I guess I don't know which ones don't say hi, or I do to some extent, because they'll write me on Facebook that night or the next day, say, "Hey, I saw you at the gas station, and you know, I didn't want to bother you, or I saw you somewhere," you know, and you know, don't ever worry about bothering me. It's not that big. It's not like Elvis or something, you know. It's not people swarming us. It's just, you know, randomly as I move around the day, I'll run into some of y'all, and it's not a problem. Okay, you again are the reason I get to do this. So everybody stop watching now. Oh my God! So if we quit watching, he'll quit going to the woods and talking for an hour and a half. Yeah, I guess I would. I guess I would quit if nobody was watching. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. And again, don't do this at home, kids. You know, really, I am a professional, and I do have certain skills, and you should not, really young people, you don't ever want to take a chance, you know, with things, you know, there's no reason to hurt yourself. For example, if you want to, now I've been doing this my whole life, weird things like that, you know, with knives and sticks and ball bats and everything. If you think that's pretty cool, this applies to anything that has some danger with it. If you think, hey, that's cool, I wish I could do that, I'm going to practice that. Well, I recommend, if you think that's extra cool, which I can't imagine anybody thinking that's extra cool, do it with a stick. Get you a stick and do it. And then if you did it with something like this, put serious tape over the blade, you know, a piece of cardboard or the leather cover maybe. It really, well, so that you could actually hit yourself, it wouldn't cut you. Okay, and then practice, okay, for about 10 years without the blade being exposed. All right, there's ways to do things in a smart way. That's the other thing too, reminds me, I might just talk all night. One thing that I've learned about myself, that's an advantage of knowing yourself, is I like everybody else, I have trouble with self-discipline. So it works better for me. Some people it works better to go cold turkey, you know, to stop something, bang, totally, like, you know, whether it's smoking or whatever it is, eating sweets or whatever you're trying to quit. With me, it works really well. Now I've got to be of a mind to do it, but it's very effectively if I gradually do it, okay? I did that. So I used to use a lot of salt on everything back in the early 70s. I just salted the heck out of everything I'd eat, you know. And then I, through advice, but I didn't quit doing it. So I just gradually stopped. I didn't just quit using salt. I'd hated my food. I just a little bit less today, maybe just a little less, you know. And then get used to that level, and then a little bit less. It's amazing where you can find yourself by doing that. And same with eating, even the cold turkey there. I just gradually kind of quit eating so much breakfast, okay, and in the afternoons I probably, although I know that works so well and I've done it before, I might have gone kind of cold turkey on it this time around. But if you're trying to do something like this, maybe just eat a little lighter at dinner. You go ahead and eat your dinner, and you eat a little bit earlier. That's a key, and you eat a little bit less. Yeah. And then maybe you work towards eating earlier and even less, you know. But it doesn't have to be cold turkey necessarily. just as long as you have the goal, you know where you're trying to get, and then you do stick with it, and then gradually get to where it, because your stomach, the beauty of it is, like, I'm not starving right now, and I won't be starving just looking in the fridge, oh, what can I eat, what can I eat, at about 6 or 7 o'clock on. I won't be doing that. If I am, it's only for something to just take a couple of bites of, maybe a small yogurt or something like that, and that'll be enough to satisfy me, because your stomach kind of contracts to where you're filled up easier, sooner, you know, and so you feel like you've eaten more even when you have not. And that's the problem with going cold turkey. You got it all stretched out. You know, I mean, even if you're not big and fat, just your stomach, it's still hungry. It's used to having X amount of food in it. You know, so anyway, gradually working your way towards something like that might work for you. Okay, forgot that little tidbit. I got to remember that when I write my book. So once I get the book written and published, you know, I'll probably quit doing this. I'll at least make, I guess, something like 50 million right on that. And you'll see me on commercials, you know, just like Marie Osmond. I lost 50 pounds. I love those commercials, except I get tired of them. Oh, man. Anyway, I'll let you go. I got to ramble a little too much. I apologize. And I'll see you all later. Here on YouTube, probably. Gunstreamer.com, YouTube, both places. What else? That's about it. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to make myself shut up. Life is good.